front desk. How may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to order some Wait a minute. That goddamn Maurice might deliver my breakfast. I don't want to see him again. I can still feel it where he roughed me up. Maybe I'll give old Jane a call. Actually, I don't think I will. I'm not in the mood. I just don't feel like it. And why would you call someone when you don't feel like it? Anyway, nowadays I can't call her. I'm just too busy. I mean, I'd love to call her and talk for a while, but I just can't do that. Anyway, I gotta eat soon. So maybe I'll give old Sally Hayes a call. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Hello, this is the Hayes residence. May I know who's speaking?
Holden Caulfield?
Holden Whatfield? Sorry, I couldn't catch that. What was
Holden
it?
Caulfield. I'm an old friend of Sally's.
Alright, hold on a second, Holden dear.
Holden Caulfield?
Yes, sir?
You say you used to be friends with Sally? Alright, let me put you through to her. Sally, pick up the phone. It's Holden.
Hello? Hello? Who is this?
What a phony. I already told her who was calling. It's Holden Caulfield. How you doing, Sally?
Oh, I'm having a grand time. What about you?
Oh, it's swell. How's school?
Oh, it's fine.
Well, today's Sunday. I was wondering if you were busy.
I suppose not. Why?
Well, there are a couple matinees we could see at the theater. Would you care to go with me?
Oh, Holden, that would be grand.
Boy, do I hate that goddamn phony word. Grand. Maybe I should cancel the matinees anyway. So, what else is going on with you nowadays?
Well, actually, there's this horrible guy, Bobby, whatever his name is. He is some nuisance.
What's so...
I mean, he's literally trying to get with me. He's like from some college, Harvard, I think.
Is he,
I mean, he's like calling me all the time.
That's just...
And there's this other guy. I think he's some West Point cadet or something.
Can this girl let me say a word? She just keeps talking her goddamn head off. That's the problem about Sally. She just goes on and on about some guy, this guy or that guy. But she won't let you ever say a word.
He's also obsessed with me. He just keeps trying to follow me around like he wants to do something with me.
Those are some real bastards.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway, meet me at that clock under the Biltmore at 2 o'clock.
Grand, I'll see you then.
Try not to be late. She's gonna be late. When was the last time she was early? I mean, she's usually prettying herself up, though. She is kind of pretty. Man, I'm pretty hungry. I think I'll get some orange juice, bacon, eggs, coffee, and some toast. That's a lot for me. I usually just have orange juice. Yeah, that's it. That's why I'm so goddamn skinny. I should probably be on this diet my mom put me on. It's got all these starches and things. So I gained some weight. Because, I'm really skinny. And, Allie and I, we used to eat Swiss cheese ham sandwiches and malted milk. I still eat those because they always taste the same, but they're always good. Well, they've got lots of vitamins. Holden V. Caulfield. Holden Vitamin Caulfield.
Excuse me, may we sit here?
Sure, have a seat.
Thank you. That was quite a long trip, wasn't it? Hope we never have to make one of these covenant trips again.
I know. The ride was so uncomfortable and they didn't give us anything to eat.
Are you collecting money? Because I would like to make a contribution. I've seen lots of nuns and Salvation Army babes collecting.
Actually, we aren't at the moment. The basket wouldn't fit in our suitcases, so I had to carry it myself.
Can I make a contribution anyway? It's really no problem.
Are you sure you can afford this?
I can.
Oh, how very kind of you.
So what brings you both to New York?
We're teachers from Chicago and we're headed to a convent on 168th Street. I'm a U.S. history teacher and government politics teacher.
And I'm an English teacher. Have you been learning about speciousness? It's a very important topic.
A little. Mostly, well, English is my best subject. This year we read Beowulf, Romeo and Juliet, Julius.
Oh, Romeo and Juliet. Don't you just love it?
It had its good parts and bad parts. I really hated it when old Mercutio was killed by Tybalt, and it was all Romeo's fault. So I felt more bad for Mercutio than Romeo and Juliet when they died. Also, the Montagues and Capulets were...
What school do you go to?
Fancy. We just got let out on winter break.
Oh, I heard that's a great school. You must be very happy going there. Oh, we must be going now.
You know, those nuns made me wonder. I mean, they like to talk about Romeo and Juliet, which was swell and all, but, you know, don't you think it gets a little awkward for them? I mean, a bunch of those old books have, like, a lot of sexy parts. I mean, even if they don't have that, they'll absolutely have lovers. I mean, I'm just glad that I was not Catholic. I absolutely hate that. I hate when Catholic people ask you if you're Catholic. It just ruins the conversation. You can always tell that they're enjoying the conversation, but they'd enjoy it a hell of a lot more if they knew you're a Catholic. Take this one guy, having an awesome conversation about tennis, and then he asked me if I knew where the Catholic Church was in town. And it wasn't very obvious, but it was definitely a ploy to see if I was Catholic, and that just killed our conversation. I'm just glad those nuns didn't ask me anything about that. You know, to be honest, I was a little nervous about that nun conversation. I thought if I said something stupid or wrong, they would bring down a ruler on my knuckles like one of their Catholic school kids. Sure are a lot of girls here. It's kind of nice though with their legs and all. But it makes me sad. I bet they'll grow up to marry some real dumb guys. Boring guys. Immature guys that never read books and only talk about their goddamn recycling habits or something. It reminds me of my old roommate, Harris Mackham. He used to say a lot of things, but nothing really ever important. He was so boring. But he really could whistle. He really could. I mean, he would whistle all kinds of things, mostly jazz, and some classical too. I never told him he was such a good whistler. That would be weird, and I'm no goddamn weirdo.
Holden Caulfield, it's so nice to see you.
It's swell to see ya. How are ya?
Grand. Am I late?
Not at all. Let's get going. The show's about to start. She really was late, but why should I care? If she looks the way she does, who would care if she was late? That's right, no one. And you know what I think? I think I want to marry her right now. I knew it as soon as she walked in. I don't even like her that much.
What are we going to see?
The Lunts. Everything else was sold out.
The Lunts? Oh, I love the Lunts. They're so marvelous.
See, I told you she'd go mad for the Lunts. I love you.
I love you too. You should grow your hair out. The style's getting a little outdated, and your hair is really nice.
Whatever you say. Lovely my ass.
Oh, Holden, wasn't that just marvelous? It was so grand, fantastic, just wonderful.
Yeah. I need a cigarette. Let's go outside. You know, I didn't actually like the play. I really didn't. For one thing, it was boring. It was about the goddamn life story of some stupid couple. And another thing, too much was going on. People kept entering and exiting. It drove me nuts and almost made me dizzy. But Alfred Lunt and Lynn Fontaine were pretty good. I mean, it seemed like they were showing off. But once you do something for long enough, you have to show off or people will stop paying attention to you. Like Ernie, that piano player. But the Lunts were okay. That's another thing. I've never seen so many phonies in my goddamn life. They're all smoking their ears off trying to prove how sharp they are. I mean, look, there's a movie actor over there. He's trying to act all cool, like no one even sees him. I bet he gets a real kick out of that.
Holden, I want you to meet my friend George. He's from Andover. So, how'd you like the play, George? Wasn't it just grand?
Nothing special, no masterpiece or anything. But the Lunts were just angels. They were fantastic.
Look at this phony. He's so phony, he has to step back to answer a goddamn question, so the air around him can fit all of his phoniness. I mean, he called them angels for Christ's sake. That just killed me. I don't like how they're talking either. They're talking like they're best friends, like they used to take their goddamn baths together when they were little. I mean, and he sounds like such an Ivy League schooler, too. He's got the Ivy League school voice and everything. They're such real phonies. So, Sally, what do you say we head back to the cab?
Oh, that would be marvelous. Come on, George. Oh, Holden, I just had the most marvelous idea.
I'm sure you did. What was it?
Do you have any time you have to be home before dinner? Any special time, I mean?
No, not at all.
Oh, well, I was just thinking we could go ice skating at Radio City.
Of course you were. You mean right now?
Well, just for an hour or so. It's fine if you don't want to.
No, I didn't say that. If you want to, then sure.
Well, don't just say it if you don't mean it. I don't care either way. I could rent those little skating skirts if you wanted to.
She just wants to see herself in one of those little skirts. I guess I might go after all.
Oh, Holden, wasn't that ice skating just marvelous?
Yeah, it was okay.
So, Holden, I have to know, are you going to come over and help me decorate my tree for Christmas?
I told you I would. You've asked me about 20 times already. Sally,
Yeah, Holden?
did you ever get fed up with everything? I mean, did you ever get scared that everything was gonna go lousy unless you did something? I mean, do you like school and all that stuff?
School is a terrific bore.
Do you hate it though? I know it's boring, but do you really hate it?
Well, I don't really hate it. You always have to...
Well, I hate it. I really hate it. It's everything, really. I hate New York with all the taxi cabs, and the buses with the drivers that are always yelling at you, and that guy that called the lunch angels, and people always...
Holden, don't yell.
Take cars. Most people are so worked up about their goddamn cars. They're always talking about their miles to the gallon, and they always want the newest ones. I don't even like cars. I'd rather get a horse, honestly. A horse is at least human, for Christ's sake. A horse you can at least...
I don't know what you're saying. You keep going from one topic.
Sally, you're probably the only reason I'm here right now. If it weren't for you, I'd probably be in the woods or some goddamn place like that. You're the only reason I'm around, really.
You're sweet.
You should come to a boys' school sometime. There are lots of phonies. And all you do is study hard so you can buy a goddamn Cadillac one day. And you have to pretend to care when the football team loses. And everyone always makes these cliques. If you try to have a little intelligence...
Holden, lots of boys get more out of school than that.
I agree, but that's all I get out of it. I'm in bad shape. I'm in lousy shape.
You definitely are.
Here's my idea. How would you like to get out of here? I know this guy from Greenwich that we could borrow a car from. What we could do, see, is take the car up to Massachusetts and Vermont. It's beautiful up there. It really is. I have about $180 in the bank. We could stay in those cabin camps until the dough runs out. Then I could get a job and we could live by a brook or something and chop our own wood in the winter. What do you say? Will you do it with me, please?
You can't just do something like that.
Why not? Why the hell not?
Don't shout at me.
Why can't you?
Because you can't. We're both pretty much children, and what would you do if you couldn't get a job? The whole thing's crazy.
No, it isn't. I'll get a job. You don't have to worry about that. What's the problem? Just say it if you don't want to go with me.
It isn't that. We'll have oodles of time to do that stuff. After you go to college and all, you're just...
No, there wouldn't be. There wouldn't be oodles of time.
What? I can't hear you. One minute you're yelling at me, and the next I can barely make out what you're saying.
I said it wouldn't be the same after college. We'd have to call everyone up and tell them we're leaving. And we'd have to send them postcards, too. I'd be working at some office, riding to work in a cab, reading a newspaper. I'd go to the movies and see the coming attractions and newsreels. They'd have some stupid race, or a goddamn chimpanzee riding a bicycle. It wouldn't be the same. You just don't get it, Sally.
Maybe I don't. Maybe you don't either.
Let's get out of here. You give me a royal pain in the ass, honestly.
A royal pain in the what? Holden!
I'm sorry, no kidding. I really am. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. Come on, I'll take you home.
I'll get home by myself. No way I'm letting you take me home. No boy has ever said that to me before.
I'm sorry, I really am. I shouldn't have said that.
Just go away.
Okay. Okay. I'm a goddamn madman. You know, this record stand reminds me. I should really get a gift for old Phoebe. You know, she's one of the only people I know that can really read people. She could spot a phony a mile away. Hell, she's probably better than me. She really gets me. I mean, I could talk about the most random subjects and she'd know exactly what I'm saying. I mean, and I can't say the same for my parents. I could write exactly what I'm thinking on the wall, right next to them, and they would just stare at it, like some foreign language. You know, that's why I really need to get a knockout gift for her. Anyone that can read her, like she can read me, deserves a first-rate gift. Oh yeah, I remember. Phoebe used to love that Shirley Beans album. You know, it was a good album, but it's really hard to find. But if I can get it, it'll really knock her socks off.
Any help?
Look at this bastard, offering me help. What a phony. I mean, he doesn't really want to help me. Just look at the expression on his face. All he wants to do is stand behind that counter and let every damn customer that comes in fend for themselves. But it's because where he gets his money, he offers to help just so he can get some extra dough. All these phonies, just looking for money, like my prostitute brother DB. Just in it for the goddamn money. This cashier doesn't want to help anybody. He just wants to come in, get his money, help some people by being a phony, and get out. This cashier isn't for real. He's just a goddamn sucker for some extra dough. No thanks. The Amos brothers, Frankie Lane, the Mills brothers, Phil Harris, Hank Williams. What kind of crappy music do these people create? Can't even find the little Shirley Beans.
Sir, you seem a little bit troubled. Can I help you find something?
Well, actually, yes. Do you have the record Little Shirley Beans?
Little Shirley Beans. I haven't heard anyone ask that for a while. Are you sure you're looking for that one?
Yes. Did you not hear me the first time?
All right, relax. Just had my hearing checked yesterday, in fact. Everything will be fine. I think we only have one left.
Well then, let's go get it. How much is it?
All right, let me get the record.
Well, how much is it? Hope it's not goddamn expensive.
Did you hear me the first time? Let me get the record first. No. Shirley Beans. Ah, here we are. Little Shirley Beans. And I assume you'd like to buy this.
For the last time, yes.
Well, that would be $5.
$5, huh? Gee, am I running out of money? But at least it's for old Phoebe.
You know, this record's quite popular. I mean, it's just great. The record's just better. It's great that you just chose this. The singing's very good. Kinda Dixieland, I think. What was the woman's name? That's right, it was Estelle Fletcher. Boy, was she great. It's probably one of the best records I've heard in a long time. She sings it goddamn well. It's just great.
The nerve of some people. You know, it really gets on my nerves when people don't give you the respect you deserve. That cashier, he was serving me, and I was giving him my money, so he ought to treat me better. Just because I made him get off his lazy ass to help me out a little bit does not mean he should get smart with me. Oh well, at least I got the record I wanted. I'm sure old Phoebe will be happy.
I'm bored. I don't want to see this. I have to use the bathroom.
So I went to see this movie, and I ended up sitting next to this lady and her kid. And for one thing, she cried the entire movie. What a phony. I mean, the movie wasn't even all that sad. And then Her kid kept asking him to go to the bathroom over and over, and she just kept telling him to be quiet. You know, I really hate it when parents annoy their kids. It's just plain dumb. So one thing, she acts all kind-hearted like she's crying at this sweet movie, and then she won't even let her kid go to the goddamn bathroom. I don't know. The movie was just a waste of time, too. The plot was terrible. Well, I hope old Carl Luce shows up soon. I never really liked this bar. I try to avoid it. It's full of flits and phonies. Take this bartender, for example. He'll barely even look at you. That is, if you're not a celebrity. With them, it's all, how's Connecticut or how's Florida? And all this other phony flattery just because they're famous. Anyway, old Luce is an interesting character. He was my student advisor at Wooten, but all he ever told us was about people's behaviors. He would tell us stories about people who would have affairs with sheep and people who would sew girls' pants into the lining of their hats. Those are some real freaks. Anyway, he also told us about flits and lesbians. We would ask him about anybody, and he could tell us if they were a flit or a lesbian. He was always saying, try this on for size. And when you went to the bathroom, he would leave the door open and, talk to you while you were brushing your teeth or something. Flits are always doing weird things like that. That's why I have my doubts about old Luce. Pretty intelligent guy, though.
How's it going, Holden? I can't stay very long. I've got a date to go to tonight.
Hey, don't look now, but I've got a flit for you. He's at the end of the bar. I've been saving him for you.
Hey.
Very funny. Typical Holden Caulfield. When are you gonna grow up? You still act like you're at Wooten. You haven't changed one bit.
I never felt like I needed to. Anyway, why should I? If you ask me, people shouldn't change. They should stay the same. Everyone knows me, knows what I'm like, so they don't have to worry about my changes. What if I change and people didn't know me? What if people change and they might not be such great friends anymore?
But what if change makes the person better than before? People don't talk about that stuff forever, Holden. You gotta grow up.
Whatever. I've got time. How's your sex life? He hates questions like that.
Relax for Christ's sake, Caulfield.
I'm relaxed. How's Columbia? You like it?
Certainly I like it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have gone there.
Old Luce acts like I'm boring him, but he isn't so interesting himself sometimes. What are you majoring in? Perverts?
Ooh! What are you trying to be? Funny?
No, I'm only kidding. Listen, hey, you're an intellectual guy, and I'm in a terrific...
Listen, Caulfield. If you want to sit here and have a quiet, peaceful...
Alright. Relax. You know, the problem with intellectuals is they never want to talk about something serious with you unless they start it. It's like you have to put them in the right mood just to talk about it. I guess I have to talk about general topics with this guy. No kidding. How's your sex life? Are you still with that girl from Rooten? You know, the one with the terrific...
Good God, no. I split with her a long time ago.
How come? She seemed not that bad to me. What happened to her?
I haven't the faintest idea. For all I know, since you asked, she's probably the whore of New Hampshire by now. Actually, that's part of the reason why I broke up with her. A few too many cars parked in her street, if you know what I mean.
Well, that isn't nice. If she let you get sexy with her all the time, you should at least not talk about her that way.
Oh God, this is going to be the typical Holden Caulfield conversation, isn't it? I want to know right now.
No, but it isn't nice anyway. If she was decent and nice enough to...
Must we pursue this horrible trend of thought? Let me put it this way. I had a reason for ending it, and based on her situation, it didn't seem like I was exactly needed anyways.
So who are you going out with now? Are you going to tell me?
A girl that lives in the village. Sculptress, if you must know.
Yeah? No kidding? How old is she?
I haven't ever asked her, but I would imagine she's in her late 30s. I like a mature woman.
Really? Are they better for sex that way?
Look, let me make something clear. I refuse to answer any Holden Caulfield questions. When the hell are you going to grow up?
Listen, how long have you been dating this sculptress babe? You know her at Wooten?
Good God, no. She only arrived in this country a few months ago. She happens to be from Shanghai.
She's Chinese? You like that? I mean, her being Chinese and all?
Obviously.
Why? I'd like to know. I really would.
I simply happen to find Eastern philosophy more interesting than Western, since you ask.
You do? What do you mean philosophy? Like sex in China? Is that what you mean?
Not necessarily in China, for Christ's sake. The East, I said. Must we go into this inane conversation?
Listen, I'm serious. Why is it better in the East?
It's too involved to go in, for God's sake. They just happen to regard sex as both a physical and a spiritual experience. If you think I'm going...
So do I. I regard it as a, what do you call it? A physical and spiritual experience and all. I really do. But it depends on who the hell I'm doing it with. If I'm doing it with someone I don't even...
Not so loud, for God's sake, Caulfield. If you can't manage to keep your voice down, let's just drop the whole entire...
This is what I mean, though. I know it's supposed to be a physical, spiritual, and artistic and all, but what I mean is, you can't do it with everyone. Every girl you neck with and all, and make it come out that way, can you?
Let's drop it. Do you mind?
I suppose that was getting too personal. That was one of the annoying things about Luce, though. At Wooten, he would make you tell all these deep, personal things, but anytime you asked him anything, you get all sore. These intellectual guys just never want to have a conversation unless they're running it. Back at Wooten, he would make us leave his room after he was done being a big shot. He was afraid that someone would say something smarter than him. That really amused me. Maybe I'll go to China. My sex life is lousy.
Of course it is. Your mind is immature.
It is. It really is. The problem with me is I can never get really sexy. I mean really sexy with a girl I don't like a lot. I mean I have to really like her a lot. Otherwise, it screws up my desire for her and all. My sex life stinks.
Naturally it does, for God's sake. I told you the last time I saw you, you ought to get psychoanalyzed. If you went to see my father, he'd sit you down, talk to you, and you talk to him. For one thing, he'd help you analyze the patterns of your mind.
You're a real friendly bastard, you know that?
I have to tear. Nice seeing you.
Hey, did your father ever psychoanalyze you?
Me? Why do you ask?
No reason, just wondering.
Not exactly. He's helped me to adjust myself to a certain extent, but an extensive analysis hasn't been necessary. Why do you ask?
No reason.
Well, take it easy.
Boy, that old Luce could use strictly more than some adjusting. He's a pain in the ass, but he's got a good vocabulary. I would know. They tested us at Wooten. That's another thing. I saw this couple walking out of church today. Church is nice and all, but the people who go there are total phonies. They only go there to ask forgiveness for God just because they're guilty, or to ask Him for something. And that is not what church is for. Also, they weren't even paying attention to their kid when they were walking along the street. He was walking in the street, singing a song, If a Body Catch a Body, and they weren't even paying attention. I really hate it, and it gets on my nerves when parents have kids and then they don't even pay attention to them. Well, I'm done.